Hello, vinyl community, and happy Record Store Day. I hope that everybody out there that participated in any way found at least some of what they were looking for. And I was just noticing it's darker in here in the daytime than it is at night. That's weird. Anyway, I hope you had a great Record Store Day. And I had an interesting one, so I thought, probably like a lot of people, I'd share my Record Store Day with you. I only found one thing that I actually wanted that was a Record Store Day item. But then some other interesting things happened. First, I'll tell you that I've said this before, so if you know me, you might know this, that there aren't any real record stores in my area. Closest one is a half an hour away, and they don't participate in Record Store Day. So, there used to be a store a half hour away the other direction that opens once a year for Record Store Day, and it's in this third floor little tiny space, and he ordered some stuff for Record Store Day. He didn't get much, and but I went there just to look around what he does have available as far as his store goes, because you don't really get to go in there. But most of his best stuff is packed away for record shows and not even there anyway. But I bought one thing for from Record Store Day, and then a few other items, and I thought I'd show those to you, and then I'll tell you about the rest of my day. So this sort of was number one on my list, and it's probably number one on a lot of people's lists. It is the White Stripes' Get Behind Me Satan album, and it has the really cool 3D sort of cover that changes. You do this, and it changed from the people that were originally on the cover to Jack and Meg. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it does that. This thing wasn't cheap, but I had to get something, and I really wanted it. I was actually surprised that he had it. I haven't opened it yet. It's still sealed. That's my one Record Store Day item, and that's all I was able to get. I kind of wanted the Kinks EPs. I wanted at least one, if not all, the Jeff Beck singles. I wanted the Replacements 10-inch really bad, and I really wanted the Tomorrow LP. So I'll probably be looking for those on vinyl, and hopefully, or online, and hopefully I'll be able to find some of them at some point. But while I was there, I picked up some other stuff. Picked up Batman and Other Supermen by The Revengers. I don't know who they are. This is on Metro Records, which was an MGM subsidiary. So it was interesting anyway. And the guy wound up throwing this in. So there you go. Also picked up Let's Live for Today by the Grassroots. P.F. Sloan is basically behind this album. It's his one and only with the Grassroots, and it's a really, really good 60s album, and I was really, really glad to get it. It's got Let's Live for Today, of course, on it, as well as Where Were You When I Needed You, their version of Is It Any Wonder that the Turtles also did. It's a really good album. And I don't have a lot of Fleetwood Mac, especially the Bob Welch years, so I picked up Bare Trees, which has the original version of Sentimental Lady on it. And I believe Heroes Are Hard to Find. I think this is the last Bob Welch one and the last album before Buckingham and Nicks joined the band. So I got both of those. As well as this Kate Bush 12-inch single. And it's got an alternative version of Hounds of Love. Again, I haven't played it yet, but I'm really interested to hear what the alternative version of Hounds of Love is. It's got two B-sides that weren't on the Hounds of Love album as well. I thought this was awesome. I had to get this. Eartha Kitt. Down to Eartha on RCA Records. It's in pretty decent shape. I actually have the single from this, and I have played it on a podcast. I don't know if it's aired yet or not, maybe. But if the rest of the album is as good as that single, and the album kind of matches my room, that's cool. And anyway, I was really happy to get that. And lastly, from him, I got this, Rockabilly Classics. I love rockabilly, and I only know one song on this, which is rare for me on a rockabilly compilation. So it's got Brenda Lee on it, Johnny Burnett is on here, Bobby Helms is on here, Webb Pierce is on here. It's on MCA Records, and hopefully that'll be good as well. So that was that, and then I thought a little later I'd go get something to eat, and across the street is one of the 3 thrift stores I go to, and it's the one that didn't have anything. If you watched my last video, you'll see I said that 2 of the thrift stores had a lot of new vinyl and 1 didn't. So I went there, what the heck, right across the street, and they did. Not rock. These guys never seem to have rock. A little bit of rock. But some interesting stuff and some great labels. And again, these were all 29 cents a piece. So, and they were filthy, by the way. I've cleaned the covers. I haven't cleaned the records yet, but I've cleaned the covers because they were just dirty. Anyway, start out with this one. Flat and Scruggs, the Foggy Mountain Boys, on Mercury Records. It's got a really cool cover. The cover's in nice shape. None of these records are amazing, but none of them are too bad. More Flat and Scruggs, the original sound, also on Mercury Records. More Flat and Scruggs, Foggy Mountain Chimes. This one's on Harmony Records, which is a subsidiary of Columbia. And another one on Harmony, Flat and Scruggs, Nashville Airplane. I kind of love the cover on that one. There's some Flat and Scruggs, but this obviously all came from one collection, because then we have the Stanley Boys in person. And these guys were the guys that, as far as I know, did the original version of Man of Constant Sorrow. Maybe not the original, but the one that the Soggy Bottom Boys, that's what they did in the Oh Brother Where Art Thou movie. They pretty much copied their version. And this is on King Records. And there you go. I got some James Brown King at the other thrift store. Here's some Country King. And I got a few albums on King. This cover is quite badly, but Stanley Brothers Play and Sing Bluegrass Songs, also on King Records. The Stanley Brothers and the Clinch Mountain Boys, Mountain Song Favorites. This one is on Starday, another kind of good label. George Jones used to be on Starday. And Ralph Stanley and the Clinch Boys live at McClure, Virginia. This one is a double. Again, 29 cents. Clearly a later album, but I'll give it a listen. Then we come up with Don Reno and Red Smiley, Someone Will Love Me in Heaven. Again, on King Records, which is definitely why I bought it. Have no idea what this is. The legendary Jimmy Osborne, Volume 2. It's going to be playing mountain songs. I know that. Again, on King. This just looked a little interesting. Our Best to You. All-time hits by all-time artists. It's on Capitol Records, and it's a country compilation sort of thing on Capitol. And it looked interesting and not in bad shape. It's got the Capitol building on the back. So, again, 29 cents for all these. Homer and Jethro, Don't Be Confused. This one is on Guest Star Records, and it's got other things on it too, so I'm not sure about this one, but for 29 cents, I'll take a shot. Now we get into a little better stuff. Country Joe and the Fish, their greatest hits on Vanguard Records, and this one is actually in really nice shape. And again, 29 cents. Joe Cocker, Stingray. I am not familiar with this album at Oh, I didn't even know this Joe Cocker album existed. I'm assuming it's from the early to mid 70s, sometime in there. It is a gatefold. And it's got no songs on it. I Know It All. He covers The Man in Me by Bob Dylan. But I don't know. I'll give it a play. Carole King's music album on Ode Records. And gatefold. It's got my favorite Carole King song on it, Sweet Seasons. And it's got the music inside that it came with. So, again, 29 cents. What the heck? Couple more here. Up with Donald Byrd on Verve Records. Now these clearly came from different people than the first ones. But I have very little on Verve, and I'll buy almost anything on Verve and jazz. And Prestige Swingville, Black Jumpin' by Al Casey. I don't know, took a chance. It's not on Prestige Records, but I think it's on Swingville Records, which I think might be, you can correct me if I'm wrong, a subsidiary of Prestige. That's what I'm guessing. Anyway, one more thrift store item. Spike Jones. Thank you, music lovers. This appears to be some sort of a greatest hits, because anybody that used to listen to the Dr. Demento show and know Spike Lee from there, Spike Jones, most of the songs that he used to play on there are on this album. Cocktails for Two, the William Tell Overture, Glowworm, The Man on the Flying Trapeze, You Always Hurt the One You Loved, Their Führer's Face. They're all on here. So, kind of essential for the Spike Jones album. Okay, so I was done with the thrift store, and I headed up to the mall because I had heard that FYE had a little batch of records, my FYE carries vinyl now, that were 50% off. So I said, sure, I'll go check that out. And I did find a couple. I got Joey Ramone's first solo album, Don't Worry About Me. It is on white vinyl. Haven't opened it yet. And sale ends tomorrow, but if anybody wants to go there, if I get this uploaded in time, yeah, look for one of these little things. I'll peel these off, but and anything with these on is 50% off. So that was cool. And the Old 97's first album reissued as a double with some bonus cuts. I'm not familiar with this album. I know some Old 97's. I'm not familiar with their first one, but I'm really looking forward to giving this a listen. I think I'm going to like it a lot. So, it was a weird record day compared to most people probably, but it turned out to be a good one, strangely enough. And I hope that all of you guys was too. And I look forward to watching all of your Record Store Day videos. And as always, check out my podcast, snapcracklepop.podomatic.com is where you go for that. And this week's is dedicated to Record Store Day. I didn't do anything special, I just put a logo on. But check that out, and thanks for watching as always. And again, I hope you had a great Record Store Day and found more of what you were looking for than I did. Bye.